Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are just joining, thanks for joining, and if you're a returning subscriber, thanks for sticking with us. So for today, we're going to be making this crochet jumpsuit we saw earlier in the beginning, and I'm just going to be, taking you guys through how we go about it. I'm going to be using my yarn. I need two different shades of yarn. I'm going to be using my tape rule. I'm going to be using a 4mm hook, and I'm going to be using my cutter. Yes, you need your cutter because you are going to be using it a lot. And I might be coughing a bit because I'm not feeling too well, and then I have a runny nose, so please pardon me. But let's get down to business. So this is you, and then so you want to get the under bust to under bust. So you want to measure from here to here, just like this. And for my client, it's actually 13 inches. So that is what I'm going to be working with. This 13 inches is going to be divided by 2, and then we have 6.5, 6.5, and then one of the cups are each of the cups are going to be 6.5, and then 6.5, and then I'm going to be working with a hips measurement of 38 inches, and then I'm going to be working with a waist of 29 inches and a length of 28 inches. So that is what I'm going to be working with. But first off, we need the under bust measurements because that is what we are going to be starting with. And for your under bust, you just want to measure from the first under bust to the second under bust, and in my case it's going to be 13 inches, and I'm going to be making two different panels, so I need 6.5 inches each. So now let's get down to business. I already made this, and then this is equivalent to 6.5, so I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make another panel. So you just want to grab your yarn, and another thing I wanted to state is that I just worked with the colors anyhow I felt it was actually convenient for me. I didn't really follow a particular pattern, but since I'm making it for a client now, and she says she needs the same specific design I made, I have to follow up with the color just like the way I did it. I am not allowed to freestyle because the client wants it to be just like this. So I'm going to be using this as a sample to follow up with the colors. So now you want to grab your yarn and then make a slip knot. After making, insert your hook into the slip knot you made, and then make a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. After you've had 4 chains, yarn over, skip the first 2 stitches, which is 1, 2, and then into the third stitch. You skip 1, 2, into the third stitch, make a double crochet, and then into the very last stitch, make another double crochet. So for row 1, you should have 2 stitches. Now for row 2, and for this pattern, we are going to be increasing because we want it to spread out like this to be able to fit the bust. So now I'm going to make a chain of 2. 1, 2. We're always going to be making a chain of 2 whenever we're starting up with a new row. So now, after making a chain of 2, turn your work, yarn over, and we're going to be making increases into the very first stitch and the last stitch. That is what we're going to be doing. So into this very first stitch, place 2 double crochets there. We have 1, then into that same stitch, another double crochet, and then we have 2 double crochet. Now yarn over into the next stitch, place 2 double crochets there as well. We have 1 and then 2. So our first row we had 2 stitches, and then our second row now we have 4 stitches. Like I told you, I'm going to be mixing colors. So now I'm done with this, and I need to change my color because for this I made the pink with just 2 rows. So now I have to change to my purple, and that's where the cutter comes in, because I said we're going to be using the cutter really well. So I'm just trying to get my other yarn finished. Then I'm just going to insert the slip knot here, and then pin these 2 down and make a chain of 2. That is 1, 2. So now for row 3, we're also going to make increases at the first and the last stitch. So into this very first stitch, you want to place 2 double crochet there. I'm just going to try to weave in my ends. So into this very first stitch, you want to place 2 double crochets there. one, and then yarn over into that same stitch, another double crochet there, and then we're going to place one double crochet into every stitch till we have just one stitch left, and we're going to place two double crochets there. So this is my last stitch, and I'm going to place two double crochets here, just like that. And then for our row 4, I want to chain up 2 as well, turn my work, and into the very first stitch to place two double crochets there, one and then two, and I'm going to work one double crochet into every stitch till I have just one stitch left, and I'm just going to place two double crochets there. So basically this is just the pattern. You want to keep increasing at the first and the last stitch till you have half of your under bust measurement, which in my case is 6.5. Then after you have half of your bust measurement, you just want to work 3 normal rows of double crochet. So this is the pattern you're going to follow up with, and I'm just going to put this there so you can see, but I'll try to do just few more rows so you see. Now insert my hook and make a chain of 2. Okay, that didn't come out well. And then make a chain of 2, 1, 2. Then I'm going to turn my work, and then into the very first stitch I'm going to place two double crochets there, 1, 2, and then into every stitch one double crochet till I have one more stitch remaining, and I'm just going to place two double crochets there. So basically the pattern is very simple. This is just it till you have your bust measurement, half of your under bust measurement, and then you just want to work 3 normal rows. That was what I did for this. And but the only problem there is following up with the colors. That is just it. And make this I'm going to put this on top so you can just follow up with this. I'm going to insert a picture of this so you can just follow up with this so it can be easier, because I'm going to be working the rest of camera now. Chain up 2, just like this. Turn your work to the very first stitch. You want to put 2 double crochets there, and then just work 1 double crochet for the next few stitches, but we're not going to be ending up the row because I just did a cut and join for both colors on this row. You get to see what I meant by cut and join. So this was how I did it, and then when I got to this place I actually switched to purple, and then I used purple to finish up the row. So stitch where I want to change my color, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to yarn over, go into this very stitch, then yarn over, pull through. I have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through the first 2. After pulling through the first 2, I am just going to cut this off just like this. Then I'm going to make a slip knot with the other color just like this. Then I'm going to insert it into those 2 loops here. After inserting it, I just want to use my hand to pin this down so it doesn't start coming off. Then I'm just going to pass this purple yarn through the pink yarn, and just like that I've already changed my color. And I'm just going to keep working 1 DC into every stitch till I get to the last stitch, and I'm going to place 2 double crochets there. So like I stated, this is just the pattern. If you see, that is what I'm following up with. So you just want to follow up with this pattern till you have your desired under bust length. And I'm just going to place this picture so you can follow up and you can just count how many rows. So I'm just going to be counting the amount of rows I did, but this last 3 rows I didn't do any increase. So I have 1, 2, 3. So once you get your bust measurement, you're going to under bust. Sorry, when I say bust, I mean under bust. Once you get half of your under bust measurements, you're going to stop increasing, and then for the next 3 rows it's just going to be 1 DC into every stitch. I'll still come back to show you guys, but in total I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I have a total of 16 rows. So I'm going to work the rest of camera, and once I have the half of the under bust, I'll come back to show you guys how to do the normal 3 rows. Alright guys, so I've gotten to my desired length. I told you the under bust, half of it is actually 6.5, and currently I have 6 inches, but when stretched it gets to 6.5 when stretched, so that is fair enough for me. So now what I want to do is I want to change colors, and this is where I am currently. I know I told you that after you've gotten the measurement of your underbust, you're going to make 3 normal rows. So we're about to start our 3 normal rows, and I just want to make a slip knot. And I'm going to be swapping my color to purple because I just finished with pink. So I'm going to make a slip knot just like this. I'm going to chain up 2, 1, 2, going to turn my work, and into this very first stitch I'm going to place just 1 double crochet there, and I'm not going to be placing another double crochet there because I've gotten to the length of my under bust and I don't want any more increases. So I'm just going to work 1 double crochet into every stitch moving forward till I get to the end of the row. So work 1 double crochet into every stitch till you get to the end of the row, and I'm going to meet you guys at the end. So I just finished the first row of normal double crochets, and I told you we're going to be doing 3 rows, and with the pattern I'm following I have 2 rows of purple, so I'm going to be repeating this row as well. I want to make a chain of 2, 1, 2, turn my work, and again work 1 double crochet into every stitch till I finish up the row. One double crochet into every stitch till I finish up the row, and I'll meet you guys at the end of the row. I'm done with the second row, and I'm about to start the last normal double crochet rows, and here I have color pink, and then that is what I'm going to be doing here. So you just want to grab your yarn, make a slip knot, then insert it, and then make a chain of 2. This is 1, 2. Then I want to turn my work, and I'm going to work 1 double crochet into every stitch just like that, and then I'm just going to be working 1 double crochet into every stitch. And after I finish this row, this is enough for me, but if your bust is bigger you might want to increase it depending on the measurements you got for your under bust, but this is fine. And then I'm just going to keep working 1 double crochet into every stitch till I finish up this row, and after I finish up this row I'm going to make a chain of 10. I'm going to make a chain of 10. This chain of 10 is just going to be like for the body parts. I'm just going to make a chain of 10 for the jumpsuit. I made a chain of 10 because I don't want the back to be too close and I don't want it to be too open. But if a chain of 10 is not going to be fair enough for you, you might want to add up more inches. So now this one is going to be by this side, and then if I'm done with this row, you know it's going to fall here. So I cannot make my chain of 10 here. Once I get to the end of this row here, I'm going to cut off my yarn, and then I'm just going to come and attach it here to make my chain of 10. But let's finish up with this row. So once you finish up your first panel, anywhere you stop, just make a chain of 10 there. So it's your second panel that is going to determine where you want to make. And once I'm done, I'm going to just do the trimming. If you can see this, I already trimmed it off, so I'm just going to do the trimming. I'm going to trim everything off, and I'll come back to show you guys how to reattach your yarn and then make a chain of 10, and then how to join these panels and then start working for the body part. But if you feel this is going to be too small for you, you might just want to add more chains. This is going to be 9 inches, 9 inches on this side, 9 inches on that side, and that is 18 inches, and which is fine for the coverage for the back. But if that 10 chains you made is not going to be enough, or you feel like the back might be too open, you might just want to increase it to 15 chains. It's not really doing a lot there, it's just, the back is lacing. So you don't want to make it too covered because once you are lacing, it's going to stretch out. So I'm just going to go on to finish up this row, do my trimming, and then come back to show you guys. Okay guys, so I am done trimming this, and then this is the other end. So this is what I was trying to explain, that this is where my row ended, but I cannot put the chains there because it's not going to fall by the side. So now I ended up finishing with a roll of pink, and now I need to start with the roll of purple. So now I had to write down the rows and the way I did it in the picture, because I told you I'm actually making it for a client and she said she wants it exactly the way I did mine. But meanwhile, I made mine for my head. So just to follow up and to make sure I don't make any mistakes, I had to write it down. So now I'm going to be grabbing my purple yarn, and then make sure that before you join the panels together, that one is not on the wrong side and one is on the right side. Make sure that both are well aligned on the right side. And I'm just going to grab my yarn, make a slip knot, and then insert my hook in the side of this second panel, just here, and I'm going to make a chain of 11, and I'm going to explain why we are making a chain of 11. Oh, this actually, we made a chain of 10 on the first end, but now we're going to be making a chain of 11. So I'm going to explain why. But first up, let's make the chain. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So now I'm going to be skipping this chain here, and into the next chain I'm going to be making a double crochet. So if I skip the first chain and then into the next I make a double crochet, in total I am going to have 10 stitches. That was why we made. So now I'm just going to turn my work and then work one double crochet into every of the chain stitches till I get to my normal double crochet row. And make sure you're counting so you don't omit one row. So this is 1, then this is 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then into the very last stitch here we have 10. So now that I've gotten all the chain stitches, I've gone into all the chain stitches, into this very first stitch where we made our chain 11, I'm also going to go into that same stitch with one double crochet, and moving forward I'm just going to work one double crochet into every stitch till I get to the end of this row. So work one double crochet into every stitch till you get to the end of the row, and I'm going to meet you there. Okay guys, so now I have just one more stitch to end up this row, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to attach it to the second panel. So you just want to yarn over, go into this your very last stitch, then yarn over, pull through, you have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through the first 2, and then just like this, that you have 2 loops, go into this very first stitch on the other panel here, just like this. Make sure you go into it thoroughly, then yarn over, pull through, we have 3 loops, and then yarn over, pull through all the whole 3, and then we have attached our panels together. So I'm going to be showing you guys this one more time. So we have 1 stitch left, yarn over, go into that very last stitch, yarn over, pull through, you have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through the first 2, and then grab your second panel, and then go into the very first stitch on this end, and then just after going through the first stitch, just pull through, you have 3 loops, and then pull through all 3, and moving forward we're just going to work one double crochet into every stitch till you finish up the row and till you get to the chain stitches. And you're also going to be working one double crochet into each and every one of the chain stitches. And once you are done with that row, I am going to meet you guys at the end of the row. Alright guys, so I am at the end of my row, and for my book here I have two rows of purple, so I'm still going to be repeating this purple yarn. What I want to do is I just want to chain up two, one, two, then turn my work just like this. Then I'm just going to be working one double crochet into every stitch till I finish up the row. So you just want to continue working one DC into every stitch till you finish up your row, and then I am going to meet you guys at the end of the row. Okay guys, so I'm done with this row and I just cut off my yarn, and I'm going to be attaching my pink yarn to it. So for this pink yarn is going to be 1.5 row, 1.5 row instead of 2 rows, just like what we did for the purple. So for the first row, we're just going to chain up two, work one double crochet into every stitch till we finish up the row. And then for the second row, we're just going to work one this into every stitch till we get to this point somewhere here, and then we're just going to reattach our purple yarn. That was just what I did in the picture she saw. So one DC into every stitch till you finish up the row, and then after you are done with the same color, chain up to work one DC into every stitch till you are like around this corner. So the trick is, after you pass the middle, you just want to go to the front just a little bit, and then you're just going to change to our purple yarn. I didn't work with any particular stitch, but I just passed the middle a bit, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So chain up to turn your work one this into every stitch. We're not making any increases, we're just working one this into every stitch, but it's just like we're working 1.5 rows, and some we're working 2 rows, and some we're working just 1 row. But you understand what I mean by that as we work on. So I'm just going to be doing the rest of camera, and I'll come back to show you guys once I have my 1.5 row completed. Okay guys, so this is what I was explaining when I say 1.5 row and it's going to pass the middle a bit. So here is fine, and I just want to cut off my yarn so I can swap colors. So moving forward, I'm just going to write the remaining rows on the screen and how the colors should come in. I'm going to write it on the screen, and why I'm just going to walk off camera, because it's the same pattern, it's just the rows that are different. So I'm just going to write that. Okay, I need to finish it up like this. So what I want to do is I just want to insert my yarn, switch colors, and then just work one DC into every stitch till I finish up this row. I'm so sorry about the noise. I'm in a very lousy environment. So now after I finish up this row with this purple, I'm going to chain up two, and I'm going to work one row of purple moving forward. That is what I'm going to do. And after working the one row of purple, I'm just going to write on the screen how you are supposed to go about the remaining rows until I have 1.5 row again, just like this. And then I'll come back to show you guys. But finish up this row. After you finish up the row, chain up two and work one row of purple into every stitch, and I'll meet you guys at the end of the row. Hi guys, so I'm already there, and then the last row I said is going to be 1.5 for the purple. So I'm already at the half. The half is not like the one we did for the first time we made half at the upper body. We went above the middle, but this one we're just stopping at the middle. So I already cut off my yarn, and I'm just going to be joining with my pink yarn. So you just want to make a slip knot just like this, insert it, there you go. And then moving forward, you're just going to work one DC into every stitch till you finish up the row. So just go on and work one DC into every stitch, and I'm going to meet you guys at the end of the row. Okay guys, so currently I'm done with my row, and now this is fine enough for from the bust to the waist area. This is fine enough for my clients. She doesn't want the back to be too open, getting down to like her lower body. So this is perfectly fine, and I'm just going to measure the length now so I can tell you guys the amount of inches I have. So if you are working yours, you might want yours to be longer than this, or you might want to stop here. It all depends on you. So let me grab my tape rule now, then just take the measurements and I'll let you guys know. Okay, I have 14 inches. I don't know if you can see it, but I have 14 inches, and I told you that I'm working with a length of 28 inches. So what I want to do now is I need 14 more inches for this to be complete. One DC. So I need 14 more inches for this to be complete. And now for the waist, I told you guys earlier before that I'm actually working with a waist of 29 inches. So I want to measure this. Okay, let me measure from here. I want to measure this, and then currently I have 18 inches. So this is 18 inches, and when it stretches it gets to 20.5. I already measured it off camera. So when it stretches it gets to 20.5. So and her waist is actually 29 inches. So I'm just going to do few chains, and then mind you, you don't want to get the waist measurements completely, because when you wear it and you're about to lace, the back space is going to be a little bit big. You want it to be like fitted on the client's body. So I'm going to make a chain of 26 now, and then I'm going to calculate how many inches I get. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26. So this is a chain of 26 inches, and then I'm just going to measure how many inches I have. This cannot fit the camera completely, so I'll just measure from there. Then let's see. So this is 24 inches currently, but when it stretches it gets to, oh no no, this thing is stressing me. But when it stretches it gets to 26.5. So that is fair enough for my clients. A waist measurement of 26.5 can actually fit a waist measurement of 29 inches. Like I stated before, you don't want this to be too wide. So you can just use the measurement I used. Instead of 29, I used 26.5, just to get your own size like that, depending on the size you are working with. So now what I want to do is I want to slip stitch here inside this first stitch I had here, just like this. Then I want to chain up to 1 2, turn my work just like this. I'm going to be working 1 double crochet round. I'm going to work 1 double crochet into all the chain stitches, and once I'm done with this, I'm going to show you guys how to continue. So just work 1 DC into every of the chain stitches, and I'm going to meet you guys at the end of the row. Guys, I'm done working 1 double crochet into every of the chain stitches, and now what I want to do is I'm just going to keep working 1 DC round. So this is the stitch where I chained up 26. I'm going to go into that same stitch with 1 double crochet, and then moving forward I am just going to work 1 double crochet into every stitch, and I'm going to meet you guys at the end of the row. So keep working 1 DC, end of the row, and then this was where we started from. So I'm just going to go into this chain 2 stitch I made at the beginning, and I'm going to slip stitch to end the row, just like this. After slip stitching, I just want to grab my cutter and then seal this off. You want to seal it properly, just like this. So the reason why I actually seal this off is most times when you are working in circles, every time you tend to slip stitch, you have this straight line. It gives you one line like that, and I don't want it by the side of my dress. I want it in the middle of the dress, so at least it shows that that is the back. So you just want to use your eyes to gauge and then just pick a middle. As for me, I think I will go sorry about the noise. I will go with this, and now we're going to be working 2 rows of the purple. So you just want to grab your yarn and then make a slip knot. Sorry, I'm trying to grab my yarn. Jesus, oh, I'm so sorry about the noise. So I'm seated by the window. So you just want to grab your yarn, make a slip knot. After you found the middle part of your dress, and then insert your hook, and then make a chain of two. One, one, two. After you've made a chain of two, you want to turn your work. So for me, every time I'm working in circles, I always turn my work, and instead of me to go into this stitch where I just made my chain two, I skip it and then I go into the next, and after I've worked round, I come back to go into that. I don't know if you understand what I just. So now I'm just going to work one double crochet into every stitch till I finish up this row, and after finishing this row I'm going to work one more row of double crochet into every stitch with this purple. So in total I'm going to be working 2 rows of the purple, and after I've worked 2 rows of the purple, I'm going to come back to show you guys how to make the increases for the hips, because you know we actually worked with the waist measurement. So go on to work one double crochet into every stitch for 2 rows of the purple, and I'm going to show you guys what to do next. Okay guys, so I'm done with my 2 rows of purple, and now we're going to be switching back to pink, and we're actually going to be making increases for the hips. And what we are going to be doing is very simple. Just going to show you guys how to go about it. So you want to make your slip knot just like this. Insert it into your hook like this, and then you want to make a chain of two. So we have one, two. Then I told you I always turn my work, yarn over. I'm going to skip this chain two stitch, and when I walk around I'll come back into that. So you must always come back into that so you don't make a decrease. So one double crochet into that. So now what we are going to be doing is we are going to be making 7 double crochets. Then after the 7th double crochet we'll make an increase. So that is 1, we have 2, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So after your 7 double crochet, into the 8th double crochet you're going to make 2 double crochet into that same stitch. So into this 8th double crochet we have 1, then into that same stitch place another 1 more double crochet, and we've made our first increase. So now you want to go on to count 7 double crochets again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then into the 8th double crochet you place into the 8th stitch you place 2 double crochets there. So I've placed 1 double crochet into my 8th stitch. I'm just going to place 1 more there, and then I've made my second increase. So that is what you are going to follow up with: 7 DC into the next 7 stitches, and then into the 8th stitch you're going to place 2 DC there. So follow up with this pattern, and then I am going to meet you guys at the end of the row.